now proudly presented on SNME. That's Sunday night's main event.
Heavy traffic during 4-5. Gotta hustle on your own time. Color people every port side. We just people from the north side. Want some teammates at the shore fine. Winter ready on the foe ties.
What's going on, guys? It's your host, your boy, George Mackay. I am so excited because I'm sitting here with my absolute best friend. In person, over Zoom. Gabriel. I said in person, not over Zoom. Gabriel Fuerza, El Diablo, is here with his best friend, George Mackay on Straight Talk Wrestling. How are you, buddy?
I'm okay. I don't know where or how you came to the conclusion that we're best friends.
Well, it all started with really the camaraderie that we share, the amount of respect we have for one another, and the fact that those pictures became a gag at first. Now people actually wait for them. If they know we're going to be at a show together, they expect to see those pictures bright and early the next morning. And I like to deliver those photos.
That's good. Well, they would love my childhood photos because that's how I've always smiled. And my mother would beg me to smile for photos, and I literally would be like, I am. And I just couldn't. So
come on, tell the people. Come on, let the people know that we are. This is not an on-camera friendship. This is friendship, man.
okay.
See, you didn't deny it. You didn't accept it either. But I'll take it. I will take it. So you're going to the UK next couple weeks, and I know you had a first very successful run over there last year. Now you're going back. I mean, every time you set goals for yourself, you obviously achieve them in some way, shape, or form. What's the goals for this round of European dates that you plan to do? New promotions? Are you?
Well, I mean, I'm wrestling at a couple new promotions that I wanted to. Attack, in particular, is one that I really wanted to get in there, and they just announced that Vertigo and I will be tag teaming there, so that'll be exciting. In terms of goals, I mean, really I'm just following what Vertigo's done, right? Like,
Well, the formula's worked, right?
exactly. Like, he's the one who had the balls and just the gusto to just go and do it and figure it out. And I'm a little bit later, and I'm a little bit older, so I got to catch up a little bit faster. So I mean, I'd like to be traveling as much as he is. Like, Wales and England are kind of like the front door of the European house, but I want to get into all the rooms and all the nooks and crannies. So, I mean, I'd love to check out Germany. Switzerland is on my bucket list, like, period. If I could wrestle there, that would be also great. France, Spain.
He just wrestled in Denmark, did he not as well?
He did. He got flown out to Denmark.
See?
So, like, it's really working out really well for him. So I'm really happy. But I just want to travel more, I guess, and wrestle. Not necessarily like in as many different places as I can, but as many like quality people as I can.
You mentioned that you're older, you got to catch up, and he's the one who had the balls and the gusto to just be like, "Fuck it, I'm gonna go do it." Was there a hesitation on your part, and if there was, what changed?
I just realized that I was getting old and I was gonna die soon. So you got to do it, or else you're just never gonna do it.
Right.
That
so
was
it was
it.
like shit or get off the pod time.
Yeah.
And now it was time to get off the pod.
Yeah.
Right on. I like that. No, I like that. It's very simple, short and sweet.
That's simple.
And unfortunately, you're going to be there in the best month of the year. I mean, you're going to be there when Halloween is happening. It is our favorite month. I mean, I love Halloween just as much as you do. Now, of course, the UK does have some pretty good horror flicks. I will say that.
They do. I don't see. I thought, I'm like, oh well, it's the UK. Obviously, they do Halloween, right? Like, how different could we be? But no, it turns out they really just don't. I've heard from some people that they don't at all. I've heard from some people that they do like light fireworks, which is neat because I've never seen fireworks on Halloween.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, like, I don't really care. To me, Halloween is more of like a vibe. I don't really need to be doing anything in particular, or you know what I mean? Like, I don't need the aesthetic to kind of match what's going on in my brain. Yeah, and like, I'm going over with my friends, and that's all I need, really.
Yeah, your friends, good times, good food,
Yeah.
laughs.
Yeah.
And there will be some horror movies at least premiering in theaters, so you can go catch out a flick at a UK theater. That'll be cool.
Yeah.
You got anything that you're looking forward to, like seeing over there? Like, is there any landmarks you plan to tour that maybe you didn't get a chance to see the first time around? I mean, one of the biggest tourist attractions that I've heard of, I don't know if you're going to be anywhere near there, is to walk the street that Jack the Ripper himself did his things on.
That would be cool. I haven't really looked into it too much, just because the priorities like wrestling or whatever. But last time I didn't get to actually see the ocean, which I'd really like to see. We're staying in Cardiff, which is right by the ocean, so shouldn't be too difficult. But I'm going to Scotland as well for the first time, so like.
I'm half Scottish, right? You're going to my home country.
I could have assumed that. Yeah.
You're going to my home country. You know what my other half is?
What?
Italian. Do you believe that?
Yeah.
I'm half Italian, bro.
Yeah,
Is it because I do all live with my hands?
No, just ethnicity-wise, it
Really? A lot of people think I look pale as fuck.
I think a lot of Italians are pretty pale.
Compared to yourself, yeah, absolutely.
To a degree, I guess. I don't
Yeah.
know.
You tan though, right? Like you tan quite easily. No?
I mean, like, I don't tan, but like this is me at my palest.
Okay, yeah. Well, that's me at my darkest. When I really try.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, look.
That's okay. Alexia is paler than you are.
Yes, somebody's out there is paler than me. That's awesome. So, going over the UK, Attack is one of the promotions that you really wanted to get, and now you're booked on.
Yeah.
Could there potentially be some inner workings, like you get over there, maybe impress somebody else and get some gigs on the spot? Is that usually what you hope for, or how it works, or do you try to book in advance?
You always hope for if you can get on like a progress like day of, like that would be the dream, right? But most of the time, no. What I'm noticing is that most promoters in the UK book like months ahead of time. So the problem that I ran into the last time was that I kind of started to reach out like 1 to 2 months before, and that just wasn't enough time. Like most of them were like, oh, sorry, like we're full. So this time around, I just kind of started talking to them a little bit earlier, and managed to get nearly double the bookings that I did the last time, which is great. But yeah, it's tough to actually get booked. Like, oh wow, like you did really really well. Like come to my show. Like yeah, like you did really really well. But like next time you're over, reach out to me. That's usually what you get more than anything.
Okay, so then you always get like the next time, reach out to me earlier, and we can put. So that's probably what happened with Attack, right?
Yeah. Not with Attack, but Attack's kind of funny because so I went over mostly through Wild Boar. Like he was the one who kind of helped facilitate everything. And he is obviously somebody who's been kind of involved with Attack for a while. And he introduced me to Flash Morgan Webster, who helps him run Chaos. And then kind of through him, I met Mark Andrews, and Mark Andrews is the one who runs Attack. And through, word of mouth, he kind of like saw my clips and was like, oh yeah, like pretty good, right? And then at Impact, we met and kind of got to know each other, and it just kind of worked out that way, you know what I mean?
I love that, but that's how it's great, right? You meet right timing, everything kind of falls into place, and that's what El Diablo's about. It's about opportunity and timing.
Yeah, sure.
At least in my eyes.
No, I like
opportunities and timing, right? Here it is.
Yeah, no, it makes sense.
So when we talk about goals and aspirations and stuff like that, you've been a household name here in this scene for a while. And I don't like to big up anybody's ego, but it's hard not to with the matches that you've had and the ability and the stories that you've been able to tell. Okay. And I think you've exceeded the bar every single time, and I've been able to honored and privileged to call quite a few of those matches. Some of them my all-time favorite matches of all time.
Really?
And and it's not because you and I are best friends, it's just because it's a factual statement. Factual statement. You are that good. But we want to go through Europe, we want to tackle more. What about going over into Puerto Rico, going over into like the southern areas and stuff like that, going into Mexico? Like, do you have plans to go to that side of the world? Planning to attack the South Americas in any way?
Mexico, yeah, potentially. I actually wanted to, plans kind of fell through, but my mom lives in Mexico, so the idea was to go visit her, get a couple bookings, and then, come back. Yeah, that's definitely something I want to do in the future, just because, like, it's the easiest place outside of Canada for me to get booked. I'm not a Canadian citizen, I'm a Mexican citizen, so, like, it's really easy for me to just, show up. So, yeah, that'll definitely be something I want to do in the future. Puerto Rico I've never thought about, but, yeah, why not?
Puerto Rico does have a historic background in pro wrestling. You know that as well as I do, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it also has some shadiness and darkness, like Bruiser Brody and stuff like that, but we don't have to talk about that. That's like Bruno. We don't talk about that. We talk about the good stuff. Yeah. But Puerto Rico, definitely, I think you would flourish over there for sure. And you'd be able to have some killer matches. And you're also not afraid to fucking bring a weapon in if needed. So that's right in Puerto Rico's wheelhouse for sure. I got to ask this, though. I think I've asked this a few times, and I don't think I've ever gotten a concrete answer. In terms of, I think every character or every storyteller needs to evolve at some point or time, and a lot of times I feel like a signature match is something that really helps build a character to full potential. Yeah. What would be the signature match for Gabriel Fuerza El Diablo? Like, I feel like a street fight, yes, but I also feel like something dark and sinister, like a Chamber of Horrors or a casket match or a Dance with the Devil match. I don't know, something that just resonates. Like I don't know what a Dance with the Devil match would be. It'd just be a cool spin on a street fight. But if Gabriel Fuerza had his own stipulation match, like something to really finish a storyline, if it could be told properly, what would be the one in your wheelhouse?
I've kind of had the idea of doing like a, I don't even know what you would call it, but it'd be like a bet match. Basically, I put $500 on the line that says I can beat you.
Okay, like
And
a prize fight.
Yeah, and if you're willing to match it, then we match it, and then we fight, and then the winner gets the money, right?
Winner gets the money.
Because at the end of the day, that's what, the Gabriel Fuerza character is. He's not as, like, satanic as people really kind of assume at first kind of glance, because, yeah, like El Diablo, like, whatever, that's the devil. People assume, 666, blah, blah, blah. But really, El Diablo's more of like a...
You're a trickster.
He's a trickster. Yeah. Think more like Loki with a gun.
I like that. Loki with a that's a fire tattoo, bro. Straight up, that's a fire tattoo. Loki with a gun.
Yeah, like really, I'm just trying to like take as much as I can with as little effort as possible.
So, less is more for you.
Less is more. I'm not much of a weapon guy. Like I'll do a street fight here and there. I do like it to finish off a feud, and maybe like that could be kind of woven into the stipulation. But at the end of the day, like what Gabriel Fuerza wants more than anything is to take something from you, and if he can take your money, then great.
It's true. It's true. I always had a script that I wrote years ago because I did go to film school and I studied all that stuff. And one of my final projects was we had to write our own little short story and we had to film it. And what I wrote was the story that I wrote was called The Perfect Game, where a guy sells his soul to the devil to become a champion of some kind of sport, and then he ends up playing poker with the devil. And I wasn't sure I was going to spin it. Like I wrote the synopsis for it, but I never really finished out the script. I toyed with it here and there, but I always walked away to it, came back, walked away to it. But I wrote enough of a treatment for it to be submitted for my final project. But the only thing I remember really about it that stuck out to me was the final line, because I had it worked out where the guy was going to beat the devil at cards. He was going to beat him at one hand of poker. And he was going to beat him with like 4 kings over 4 aces, like just something dirty sexy. And the final line was going to be him, because I'm a big fan of like smoking shots in movies. Somebody lights a cigarette and does that slow exhale, and it's just dirty looking. It's just great. And my final line of the final line of this short story was going to be, I always will remember the night I danced with the devil, and I won. And that was just going to be my final line. And I always just feel like you, if you want to, you can take that, and you can use that in a promo. I'm going to gift you that.
Thank you.
There you go. What do you think about it? That's a pretty sexy line, right?
It's good. It's good. And you know what? I agree with you on the whole cigarette thing. I don't smoke cigarettes.
No.
But I have been wanting to smoke a cigarette to the ring since I was like 8.
Right?
Yeah.
And just slow exhale of smoke.
Yeah.
Just badass, dude.
It is.
It is badass.
I don't know why, but
and
it
I don't
is.
know what it is. Smoking shots in movies are
Yeah.
sexy.
Yeah.
I don't know why.
It attracts your eyes to the lips.
It does. There you go. See sex appeal.
Yeah.
In a very dirty and filthy habit. I was a former smoker. I'm 3 weeks non-smoking.
3 weeks. Congrats.
Yeah, I'm trying.
Good.
Trying.
It's hard.
It sucks.
Yeah.
It's been a consistent battle since I was 14.
Yeah.
I've quit for 6 months, a year, here and there. But the problem is with me is that I still smoke weed. So I can't give up the weed because the weed helps control my anxiety.
Yeah. Well, I think you'll get it.
I'll get it eventually. I'll come to something. Maybe I just gotta take more of the edibles.
Maybe.
Edibles are fun.
I mean, I've heard having like a toothpick in your mouth to kind of like have something to stimulate you.
Yeah, no, in my luck, I'll chew the toothpick and then choke, and then it'll like bust my esophagus or something.
That's true. Maybe
I'm a
not.
worrywart on a lot of shit. I think of random shit at a time in my mind. All right, I gotta ask you this.
Yeah.
We've toyed back and forth about horror movies and all this kinds of stuff. I know you're a fan of the old school slashers and stuff, and you appreciate that.
Mm-hmm.
But out of all the new genres of the subgenres of horror that's coming out now, possession is more a thing. It's hotter than ever. It's back in the fold. The new Exorcist movie's coming out.
Good.
It does look good. And then there's the stuff like Midsummer, which is very just does that complete 360 on you, and you know that they're eating people, but then when you actually see them eat it, you're like, oh shit, it's fucked up. So, out of all these little subgenres that are popping up, what is the one subgenre you're really enjoying in that thriller horror era?
Honestly, those like A24 movies, I like them because, and I don't want to, so there's this new term that I've been hearing, what was it? It's like enlightened horror or whatever.
Yeah,
it's like horror with something to say.
Yeah, it's like IQ horror.
Yeah, I don't like it because I think all good horror movies have always had something to say.
Yeah.
You just have to kind of watch it.
You really got to read between the lines.
Yeah, like some horror movies, yeah, they're just dumb fun, and that's fine. But yeah, I like movies that you watch once and you're like, that was messed up, and then you watch it again, and you're like, oh, like I'm starting to pick up what they're putting down. You know what I mean? Like Midsummer entirely. Like, do you know what that's about? It's about the dangers of white supremacy. That whole movie is about the dangers of white supremacy.
See, I would have thought it would have been the dangers of bigamy and incestuousness because they keep it in the bloodline. So I thought it would have been about like not allowing someone within your close-knit circle. I thought I actually didn't see it that way. I saw it as a tale on what bigamy can do if you like.
Well, that's the beauty about art, right? Like, it's subjective, and even though the director had it in his head one way, you can take it like a totally different way, right?
Right.
That's the beauty of it. I just like movies that have something to say.
Yes.
So yeah, like The Midsummer was great. Hereditary was good, although I don't know how I feel about like the last act. I haven't really watched anything honestly too recently. I missed the new Evil Dead.
I saw it. It wasn't anything to write home about.
Yeah, that's too bad.
I did enjoy The Nun 2, though.
Oh,
Cassie and I did go to see The Nun 2, and it was pretty decent. Way better than the
Yeah.
first one, I will say that.
Okay. Yeah, no, I haven't seen it. I look forward to seeing the new Exorcist. That looks like genuinely spooky, but it might just be the trailer. Yeah, I'd say that's about it.
Yeah?
Right? Like, yeah.
So right now, if you had to pick something, you would say this enlightened horror, metaphoric horror is kind of what you're leaning towards.
Kinda. I just... It also brings such, like, pretentiousness to horror movies that I don't like.
It's very uppity. It makes you feel almost uppity when you're watching these.
It's-
These are so above me.
Not really. It's just... Some people will take it that way. They'll be like, oh, like, I only watch these kind of horror movies. Right? Like, that's what I don't want.
Yeah.
I like them, but it's like with anything else. Like, the fans of these things kind of sour me on them.
Yes.
Like, I like wrestling, but sometimes wrestling fans can be annoying. I like a particular band, but sometimes that band, the fandom can be a bit much. Or like, you know what I mean? Like, it only takes a couple people to kind of...
It's that one bad apple spoils the
Yeah.
bunch. No, I get you. I'm the same way. Me, I like what I like. You like what you like. We can coexist fine.
Totally.
It doesn't matter. We don't have to like everything.
Yeah, it's like the whole like AEW versus WWE thing. It's like this is not a battle happening in anybody's mind except for fans.
Yeah. Just
and
enjoy it for
not
what
all
it is.
fans, but yeah, just it's good wrestling. Like, what are we complaining about?
I feel like, and I think you might agree with me on this statement. Maybe you wouldn't. I feel like the internet has ruined pro wrestling.
The internet has ruined everything.
That's true. I'll give you that.
I am very grateful. It makes me sound so fucking old, but I'm very grateful to have grown up in a time where I didn't have access to the internet
Me too.
or like phones or anything like that. Partly because like it's so hard to live in the moment now, but also because I remember like kind of being like, wow, like, oh my god, I can text my friend, like that's the coolest thing ever. And yeah, it would take 5 minutes to do one text because you had to
You had to click the button 3 times to get the right letter.
Exactly. But like I remember it being like really interesting and really like wow. But now it's like, man, like kids are such assholes because like they have this little computer in their hands and they think they're smart.
Yeah.
They're so damn dumb now.
Yeah, everything's dumbed down.
Yeah.
You know that my daughter's in high school now, and they're bringing back cursive writing.
Oh.
They're bringing it back now.
Uh-huh.
Before it was, when we were kids, I had to learn it.
You had to do it, yeah.
You had to learn it. I remember grade 4, 5, and 6, you were fine-tuning it.
Yeah.
By grade 7, you better be writing in cursive or you're fucked up. You're done.
Yeah.
So, like, but now it's like, oh, we're learning cursive, and it's so weird. It's like, it's not that weird. But you know,
No.
the funny thing is that even now, since I don't use cursive in my everyday life, I've forgotten how to do some of the letters.
Yeah.
Like, I know how to do a
Lose it.
G because it's in my signature.
Yeah.
I know how to do an M and a small n, C's and K's, Y's. But Z, I forget that Z has that double squiggle. Yeah, it looks like a hot dog on top of another hot dog. It's weird.
Yeah, it's
so
weird.
like some of the cursive, if you don't use it, you lose it. So that's the thing, right? I feel like we grew up at a time where everything was more, because it wasn't so easily accessible.
Yeah.
You
Meant more.
appreciated these things a
Yeah.
little bit more.
Totally.
Yeah. And then you didn't always have to like, read people's reviews on shit or people's comments and stuff like that. So, yeah, the internet's been good in some ways, but it's ruined a lot of stuff. I would agree with you on that, 100%.
Yeah.
Well, on that note, best buddy, pal of mine, friend, thank you so much for this finally first ever live in-person conversation. We've had many, but they've all been over Zoom.
Yes.
They've all been over Zoom.
is
And
this
actually,
like
the first
5?
time, this is 6, the first time we actually did a phone call conversation.
Oh wow, like no video or nothing.
No, because I was like, no, I'm against YouTube and against video, and I'm just going to do a straight audio podcast. And then I woke the fuck up and realized it's better to do these things.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
The ring light's nice.
The ring light's nice. Amazon.
Really?
$20.
$20. You came with
$20.
the whole stand and everything?
The whole stand and everything.
What about this thing?
This thing here,
Yeah.
$20.
Yeah, I need one of those for
$20, man.
promos and stuff.
After we get off, I'll be more than happy to show you my purchases.
Okay.
All right, perfect.
Deal.
That's it. See? Thanks, bestie.
You're welcome.
Ah, he acknowledged it. All right, guys, there you go. All those Ontario indie fans, suck it. I got acknowledgement. Peace, love, and wrestling. We'll see you guys next week. Peace. Thank you so much for watching. Please don't forget to like, subscribe, comment, and turn on that notification bell so you get notified each time we post a video. Alternatively, you can check us out on all podcast platforms and hosted on Podbean. We are also available on the SNME Network. That's the Sunday Nights Main Event Patreon. Please feel free to check us out there as well. And don't forget to follow us on all social media platforms at _Straight Talk on Twitter, at Straight Talk Wrestling on Instagram, Straight Talk Wrestling on Facebook, Straight Talk Wrestling on TikTok, and of course, you can check out all our merch at ProWrestlingTees.com.
I don't need a nigga.